Hi, it's me, Naila Moon again. I am back in, well, my other persona just for you. Today, I'm planning to read some spooky books from a book that I actually reviewed a few days ago, which is Tales of Terror. Actually, this book I picked up a few years ago from a thrift store. And it's a really kind of cute book because of the skeleton and such. But there's no photos in this, so I'm just going to read it strictly to you. Follow along. I'm not going to read all the stories, just a couple. And they're very short. This one is about a familiar character that you might know called Dracula. But with a twist. I have to find it first. Here we go. This one's called The Blood Bank. Tyler hated needles. "Don't move," said the nurse. "This won't hurt a bit." The shiny needle the nurse held was huge. It looked like it should be used for knitting, not for drawing blood. "Type AB negative blood is the rarest type, Mr. Brown," the nurse said, her breath smelling of peppermint breath fresheners. "You should consider yourself lucky to be such an exceptional young man." Tyler liked being called Mr. and young man. It made him seem older and more distinguished than an average 11-year-old boy. But he didn't like the needle that pierced his skin. The redhead nurse guided it with the quiet finesse of a mosquito. Tyler tried not to flinch. He tried to act like a strong young man. "The school band owes me a big one," he thought. The annual blood drive helped to raise money for band trips. As a budding trumpet player, Tyler and band would use the money they raised to travel all over the state and play concert at different schools. For his trouble and his blood, Tyler would raise $20. It seemed like such a small sum for such suffering. And those needles. Suddenly, Tyler felt woozy and lightheaded. He closed his eyes. He couldn't watch his crimson blood snake up the plastic tube and into a bag. He would faint for sure. "All done," the nurse said suddenly, and sticking a fresh cotton ball on his arm to stop the bleeding. She placed adhesive tape over the snow white ball to hold it in place. "There are cookies and orange juice over on the table. Eat and drink a little to get your blood sugar back to normal." Maybe giving blood wasn't so bad after all. Tyler climbed down off the table. He rolled his shirt sleeve down over his freshly administered puncture. This was his first time at the blood bank. At first he thought it might be a regular bank with, tellers at windows taking your blood deposits instead of money. Loan officers might lend you some type A blood instead of, funds for a new car. But it wasn't like that at all. It was only a clinic in a converted house on a quiet residential street, attended by one nurse and one doctor. Only the sign on the outside of the lawn read, "Borgo Pass Blood Bank," revealed that it wasn't a home. "The doctor would like to see you," the nurse said to Tyler as he munched on several chocolate chip cookies. "He said he'd like to meet a young man with such a special blood type." The doctor's office was down the hall from the blood drawing room. It was originally a back bedroom and it faced west. As Tyler entered the office, he could see the autumn sun, bright as a glob of orange sherbet, beginning to set behind the hill that loomed over the tiny town. Tyler glanced at the name engraved on the golden desk placard. It said, Dr. Acula. Tyler couldn't see the doctor's face. He was buried behind the evening newspaper. The doctor sat in a high wingback chair in the center of the tastefully decorated room. It had an old-world feel with antique chairs and a few oil paintings. Tyler wondered if they were originals. Probably not, thought Tyler. Dr. Acula was just a modest country doctor tucked away in a small town. Dr. Acula, Tyler asked. You wanted to see me? The doctor didn't answer. He continued to read and hide behind the newspaper. That was when Tyler noticed his hands, ice pale, with long, pencil-thin fingers. The nails were long, filed to a point, and yellowed with age. Black tufts of hair sprouting from the back of the doctor's pale hands looked like sleeping tarantulas. This is ridiculous, Tyler thought. It's getting late and I have to go home for dinner. As the orange sherbet sun dropped all the way behind the hill, the doctor slowly lowered his newspaper. Tyler gasped. He was clad head to toe in black. His eyes, if you could call them that, were cool yellow with fire-red pupils. They seemed to blaze with supernatural light as they stared at Tyler. The doctor's hair was harrowing black, slicked all the way back on his skull. His hairline narrowed to a widow's peak sharp as a raven's claw on his forehead. The doctor's hawk-beak nose angled down to thin, colorless lips that were fixed in a cruel smirk. I bid you welcome, Dr. Acula said with a heavy Eastern European accent. In his cavernous mouth sat rows upon rows of sharp teeth that looked like ivory stalactites. In a split second, the man rose from his chair and glided up on Tyler, inches from the boy's face. The doctor towered over Tyler, and his breath was foul, like the morning breath a corpse might have. I have not dined upon AP negative blood for nearly 200 years, the doctor said. I will feast well tonight. In the last moments of his life, it all started to make sense to Tyler. Could this gruesome figure who was about to bite his neck be the legendary vampire, the immortal bloodsucker himself, Dr. Acula? Dracula! Tyler would never know. Mr. Brom, said a distant voice. Young man, are you okay? The disembodied voice continued, becoming clearer. Tyler? Tyler woke on the blood drawing table. His head felt foggy, like it was stuffed with cotton balls. You fainted just before I was about to put the needle in your arm, said the red-haired nurse with the peppermint breath. Judging by your actions, it's probably not wise to take a blood drawing right now. A pity. Are you okay? For the first time since he entered the blood bank, Tyler did feel okay. He nodded his head. Yeah, I'm fine. A gentleman in a frost-white lab coat, whose back was turned toward Tyler, turned around to face the boy. It was the face of Dracula. Tyler had seen it before. Dr. Acula? Tyler asked, shuddering in fear. Doctor? The nurse asked. No, This is Mr. Stoker, the blood bank administrator. Behind the tall, pale figure of Mr. Stoker, the October sun began to fall behind the hill. Mr. Stoker said nothing to Tyler. He only parted his lips and smiled. His teeth were long and sharp. The end. So, I decided since that was a little longer than I thought that I won't read another, at least not for now. So what did you think? Was it the legendary Dracula? I don't know, but it sure did sound like to me. Anyway, you have a wonderful Halloween, and I'll be talking to you quite soon. Bye.